Hi, my name is Tracy Truex, and today I am going to create a learning object for teachers on how to use a few of my favorite tools in Nearpod. This is my favorite 2.0 web tool right now because of its incorporation of actually quite a few super cool tools that I know teachers use. So what you're looking at right now is my page, and these are the videos that I've created thus far. Most of them designed for remote learning fall 2020, and so when you are creating your own Nearpods, a library will just kind of generate, and that's what you're seeing over here. Like this is my library, but Nearpod's also very cool because there are like hundreds and hundreds of lessons already created that you could also use. And I am just kind of beginning to really get into all of the potential options with this particular tool. And there are so many. And like we've kind of been learning, it's best to sort of explore what works best for you. So I'm just going to give you a couple of hints and tips that I have learned along the way. So first things first, I just want to introduce the actual tool itself. So you can create a lesson in Nearpod. This, yeah, it's working. And there are a couple different ways that you can create this lesson, and I'm going to share with you a few of my favorites. But before I do that, let me just sort of show you what the tool can do so that you're aware of all the really fun stuff. So you can embed videos. You can create slides directly from here. You can put in web contact. Flow you Vocabulary. I'm not. I couldn't even say it. I'm not familiar with this. 3D Nearpod is good for science classes because you can kind of explore the body and other things sciencey. I haven't explored simulations or field trips yet. Graphic calculators are clearly for math. BBC World would probably be very cool for me as a geography teacher. Haven't done that yet. And a few others that you can see here. The PDF viewer saved my life, and I will share how and why later. Activities, this is kind of where I sort of fell in love with the tool. So there's all these like really cool ways that you can get kids collaborating with one another, that you can gauge student learning in like an instant. There's a way that you can look back at your reports. You can actually reevaluate how kids are doing, who's answering questions, all that kind of stuff whenever you use any of these tools. Um, so I typically use Collaborate Board, which I'm going to demonstrate. I do open-ended questions as well. I just recently learned that you can embed Flipgrid. So basically, Nearpod is like a combination of Flipgrid, Edpuzzle, Padlet. There's some gaming opportunities for you to throw in multiple choice questions, and as kids answers questions correctly, they like climb higher in a mountain. So you're adding some of the gamification or game theory into it as well. There's like drawing boards that you can do. I was playing with this earlier today, and you can actually download pictures from the internet and then narrate on the drawing board. It's like a whiteboard feature. There's just a ton you can do. So let me just show you how I use it. So because I'm using this primarily for remote learning, and because we are having to like recreate everything from scratch, and maybe it's not directly recreating, but it is modifying quite a bit. I think it's important to show you, like you could create everything right here, but you could also import things that are already created and then modify them within the actual Nearpod platform. So I already created a couple things that I can upload. So you can upload directly from Google Drive, which is kind of good. And the things that I'm going to upload, I created specifically for this presentation, but you could upload any presentation you want. And then what you're going to see is here. This is the one I created for this. So you can just click on that and then move this out of the way. There. Select that. And then you want to do individual slides. I'm going to show you what creating a PDF viewer will do, but you want to import individual slides. And since I'm doing this live, we just have to be a little bit patient with the file processing. and there's only a couple slides, so this really shouldn't take that long, but you can import like an entire Google slide presentation. You don't have to create everything in Google Slides, which is kind of convenient. So then these become your individual slides, right? And there's always, if you want to see what things are going to look like from the student perspective, you can always hit preview down here at the bottom. And remember, I should have mentioned this before, but one of the really cool features of Nearpod is that as the teacher, you are in control of how they are viewing the slides. So you can use this as a way to provide students with information in little snippets so that they're maybe more engaged than if you were just kind of talking at them. And then here's I don't know why that is so tiny. It's not normally that tiny, but troubleshooting technology as we go. It's really odd. Usually it looks about this size. But anyway, so that's just kind of the preview. So let me show you how to embed a couple of slides, and you can kind of see how some of the tools that I like best. So when you want to add a new slide, you just kind of click next to the slide where you're on. And this time we're going to add a content slide. You can see my face getting in the way, so I'm going to put it over there. Add a content slide, and I'm going to add a video this time. It's a little on the nose, this video. But you go to create, this is a YouTube video I already had waiting for us, so I can just copy and paste the URL. And then when you're in Nearpod, what comes up, my incredibly slow internet today, is all the ways in which you can import videos. So you can upload a video. If you already created a video, you can import that. Or you can just go to YouTube like I just did and search the videos. And then you just hit enter, and like anything else, you select your video. And there's something really
We're going to
cool
look today at the process that you'll go through to create
video added. Okay, so this is how to use and create Nearpod video. But what I really like about this video is that I can actually like embed questions like you might be able to do on an Edpuzzle. So I can do an open-ended question, or I can do a multiple choice question. And I might just say something simple like summarize the information you just learned. And that way I can see how students are kind of processing what they're learning. And then just like an Edpuzzle, what ends up showing up is a little dot that allows you or the student to respond. And then as the teacher, because this is happening in real time, you can actually watch students responding, which is really neat. And I wish I could show you that. But again, this is one of those tools that it's just really helpful to play with. And then more importantly, it's a really good idea to troubleshoot it. So I'll show you how to do that in a minute. My husband has literally been my guinea pig for almost all of the things that I've been trying. So once you're happy with the video, then you just hit save. And then my favorite tool is the next one, and I'll show you that. Okay, so then say we're done watching the video and the video was for learning some new content. So now I want to add a slide, and I'm going to add an activity. And this is the activity that I just love. It's like embedding a Padlet activity. So now based on the video, I might say something like, what is your favorite, like what's your favorite tool in Nearpod? And then I just add that. And then I'm going to show you from the student perspective what this looks like. I'm going to show you one other thing that I really enjoy doing. And again, like you can add, instead of a collaborate board, I could have put a poll, and then it's just like any other poll, like a poll everywhere. You see it in live time, and you can actually share that with the students as they're answering. But here's the thing that I think, well, this took me the longest to figure out. And so this is why I wanted to especially share this with you. So Nearpod is like awesome. If you want the teacher to be the guide for the work that's happening during the class. But we're teaching in a 75-minute block. And so I don't want to drive everything. I want some of the lesson to be synchronous, and then I want some of the lesson to be asynchronous. And I didn't know how to do that in a Nearpod activity, because the teacher, if you are doing it like live, the teacher drives the presentation. There is like a student-led version, so that's an option too, but I was looking for a way to lead part of the lesson and then to have students sort of get to explore some topic on their own as well, maybe in a breakout room or maybe individually, it just kind of depends. And so I knew that there was a way that we could do this. And this is where this is where like this incorporating a PDF is a really cool technique. So you can again go to Google Drive, and you noticed already that I pre-creating the pre-creating, yeah, that's the word, the slides in Google Slides. I don't know what's going on. Okay. And I just find that to be the most effective way, because then things are really, this is this is web 2.0 technology in the 21st century, trying to figure out like all of this. Okay, so let me just, I'm not seeing it here, so I'm just going to search it really quickly. Play guess. Let's see what comes up. Looking for something called Play Guess the City. Here it is. Okay, so I'm going to add that. You get out of here again. Select. But this time, instead of individual slides, I'm going to choose Create PDF Viewer. So now you're going to see that this imports a little bit differently. You're going to see that it imports on a single slide. And that's really important, because basically what it did was it took the entire presentation that I already created and it made it a slide that's now a PDF viewer. So now I've given students the ability to work through the slides on their own. So one of the things, like this is the last thing that I'm going to leave you with, and then I think it's a really important and fun tool to learn for yourself, to explore for yourself. But you can create a preview slide. So this is what the students' view will look like. So again, I'm just kind of previewing it. Now the slide's a little bit bigger. So this is the stuff that I was planning on showing you, or at least speaking about. And then here is the video. So you can see from the student perspective what it's going to look like. And you can hit play so you can make sure that the video works. We don't have to do that, but you can see the first question that I added is right here. So then when students get to this question, if it will play. Okay, that's enough wait time. You get the gist. And then this is the collaborate board. So this is the student perspective. So what is your favorite Nearpod, favorite tool in Nearpod? And then when you type here, you could say collaborate board. And then as students type their answers, they populate here. Now, when you see this from the teacher perspective, there's a couple different things that you can actually do as the teacher. I'm going to exit. I'm going to exit out right here so I can just show you really quickly. Actually, I can't. I have to show you from the other slide, but that's okay. Let me go back to the preview. Okay, fast forward. Fast forward. I wanted to show you the last slide because the last slide was my favorite. My computer is tired. It's tired of working. It worked hard all day. We had so many technical issues today. Okay, so this is the cool part. So now, say I've already done my intro. We've already kind of talked. They've done some learning. Maybe they watched the video or whatever. Now I want them to do something with it. So this activity is something I do with my human geography students as an introduction to urban geography. And so this is a play guess the city, right? So instead of having a whole class discussion on this, I just gave students access to all of the different cities. Then I, of course, later have them justify why they chose that particular city using landscape analysis clues and so on and so forth. So it's kind of fun. And then they just guess the cities, and they do not get the answers until I take the slideshow back, and then maybe we go through them together, and then I give them the answers. And so it's just a really cool way to engage students in a whole class discussion when it's very challenging to hear from all of your students via Zoom. That collaborate board is everything. I mean, and then what I like about it is then it gives students an opportunity to sort of reply to a question, gives them confidence, because I'd be like, oh, Liliana, that was such a good answer. Like, can you explain a little bit further why you thought that way? Or, who else out there saw an answer that they were thinking about or that they think is a good answer? It just gives kids an opportunity to sort of respond to each other, and it opens up the dialogue. So then you, of course, your name, your lesson. Mine doesn't matter. I guess I have to name it. We'll name it. Save and exit. And then there's two ways that you can actually use Nearpod with your students. So you can use it as a live presentation, which is what I've been talking about, or you can do student paced. It's up to you. I think when you do the preview option, okay, you actually can't do it that way. So hold on one second. I'm learning. So when you do live participation, what's going to end up happening is that you will wait. Okay, so you will invite students to join the Nearpod presentation. So they just go to join.nearpod.com, and then they are prompted to enter the code, and then they enter the code. And then from your perspective, what you see is the students that are in your Nearpod presentation. So they have to usually sign in with their Google accounts, and so that populates automatically for you. And then the last thing that I wanted to share with you, just something that's also kind of cool. Oh, this is asking if you would like students to play. I always click all devices, otherwise I'm dealing with the Zoom issue. So when you click all devices, that just means that all students can press play on the video and watch the video. And then on this collaborate board, so you can either approve comments before they're posted or not approve them. I don't approve them because it just takes too long. But one thing that you can do, which I think is pretty cool, is that you can hide students' names. So then you're prompted to do that again. If you hide students' names, then there's just anonymity. I started with this because I thought students would be like nervous to post, but they're not at all nervous to post. So now I show names and now we kind of talk to each other. So again, it's just sort of some team building as well. And then again, this is where they get to, you don't get to see this now, but they're seeing it. And that's just, and you can end the lesson and it actually saves the code. So that's also true if you're doing like a student directed lesson, you can like save the code, which is good. But anyway, that's just a little bit about Nearpod. I definitely encourage teachers to check it out. Like it has really changed the way that my kids interact with me, with content, and with each other, and I think in really positive ways. So that that's it.